So welcome back everybody to another episode of Dakota Customs Unriveted. I'm your host Travis Feist, owner operator of Dakota Customs, and with me as always is my co-host Rob McLeod.
Pleasure to be here, guys.
So Rob, it's been a few weeks since
It's been a little bit.
Since our last podcast. We've been busy, had a lot of stuff going on.
Definitely didn't put this on the back burner, just had priorities at the shop.
Yeah,
Big priorities.
We've been busy trying to get everybody ready for Sturgis. It's just the shop's been really busy.
I think I might use this time as a platform. Next year, let's put a reminder out that Sturgis is scheduled, and let's maybe run like June 15th to end of July promotion on doing Sturgis tune-ups, and so we're not squeezing 10 bikes in the week before.
Yeah.
So.
And you never know. I'm thinking maybe next year you might hear us. We might actually be at Sturgis next year. And,
wouldn't that be a treat?
You know, go down there for a day and doing a podcast or something. You know, so
definitely be well deserved.
Yeah, you know, there's always something to look forward to next year.
It'd be nice because, you know, a lot of people are asking, you guys gonna be down in Sturgis, and it's just like, probably not. You know, it kind of sucks telling them that.
Yeah.
You know,
I've told people before, and doing this for so many years, that, you know, building bikes, I've, started doing this. Like I've said before in my previous podcast, we started Dakota Customs in 1999. And
over 20 years.
Yeah, and back then, bikes, the custom world was insane in the early 2000s, and I think it's just kind of the point, and I think there's people out there that can vouch with this that actually work at motorcycle places, that the sooner Sturgis appears in August, you kind of get to a point where you kind of get burned out just a little bit with bikes.
Yep.
And I think that's a lot of reason too, that the closer the rally comes, everybody wants last minute. You're just hustling, and you just get to a point where you can't relax. But by the time when Sturgis is here and you can relax, you're so far behind on the other projects that it makes it tough.
It's just like Sturgis hit us pretty hard. That hailstorm hit us pretty hard, and it's not like the shop wasn't just slow before all this. So it's just like it's been balls to the walls. But I think that'll kind of lead us into a good topic of just hustling. I think this is gonna be a good topic for this podcast. Just like,
why
no
we're
matter
doing
the odds,
this one,
I think, but we'll.
And the thing is too, is last weekend we had a car show for the second annual Camaros of North Dakota. They put on a car show for a benefit, and we attended that on Saturday, and we will be having a podcast about that in the next few weeks. I'm guessing that once everybody gets back to normal. So it was a good show. So again, that took up some prepping and time to get ready for that. I know we had that dually that we had to get done, and if you guys want to check it out, you can check out our Facebook and website and see that brand new dually that we got done. So that, like I said,
crazy is that truck was huge, and our next 3 custom lift kits are going to be even bigger. Excited for those trucks. They're going to be real statement makers for customer in the shop. So
I believe this other Denali we got coming in is definitely going to be one of a kind for around here, and it's definitely going to make a statement.
Yeah, you don't see.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I think we did the math to see if it's going to clear in his apartment door or garage door. I don't think it is, but yeah, that truck's going to be put up another 15 inches with the 37s and the 10-inch lift.
Yeah, it's going to be big.
It's going to be...
Yeah, I think we're running with 24s or 6s.
26 by 14s with a negative 76 offset, so
we're pretty much putting...
It's going to be... this guy's definitely doing it for the gram, so...
Yeah, they're going to be huge.
Yeah, but so...
So normally, and again, you can keep following us. We'll have pictures on our website and everything else that we can, for you followers to see the stages. We'll be taking pictures and stuff on that too. And feel free to comment on anything that we do for builds. Feel free to pipe in if you guys have questions about it or comments. Absolutely. We always love to hear stuff like that. So today's podcast, we try to talk about a lot of stuff, what we do, what we're involved with, what we encounter, what we deal with, some of the things that we, have to deal with day to day, everything in the car, truck, industry, motorcycle. And I think that no matter what, it always doesn't have to be something with wheels, motors, shiny paint. It can relate to other things too. And which brings me with today's podcast is everybody, even in the car world, motorcycle, truck, UTV, whatever, doesn't matter. Who doesn't enjoy a good cup of coffee? Right? You don't have to be a motorhead. You don't have to be a gearhead. You don't have to be into, cars, trucks, side by sides. But people enjoy a good cup of coffee.
Whatever you're doing, whatever your day presents with you, whether you're working on this stuff or going out and enjoying it, it's like you start the day out with a bad cup of coffee. It's like, well,
it's like
how much better can the day get? I mean, if you start out with a great cup of coffee, like the rest of the day is just going to fall in place. It's like that smile just continues on,
Yeah, and I think people really rely on that. They look forward to a good cup of coffee. And so which brings me with today's podcast is Travis with, he's got a coffee company here. And Cold Country
Coffee.
Yes. Tell us.
So, like I said, I'm Travis, Cold Country Coffee. So, I was working at a power plant. I've been working at Leland Olds for about 12 years now. And just working shift work. I started dabbling in hobby roasting coffee, kind of intrigued me more or less. And so I started kind of roasting out of my garage and handing out coffee and letting people try it. And it just kind of took off. And then I was down actually in Sturgis one year. I think it was 2016, I think it was. And I was we were chilling, and like Black Rifle Coffee was down there. So I hit it off with a couple of those guys. And when I got back home, I was like, I should do it, I should do something with it. So we started kind of marketing, and the community really made it grow. Everybody been kind of spreading the word and stuff like that. And so I started the company in 2017, and it's been an uphill climb. So we kind of busted through COVID, and now I don't think anything can hold us back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
it's quite the roadblock.
Yeah. Why coffee? What made you have a desire? I know a lot of guys, they like to smoke, meat, that is. And, and, everybody has their niche for something. Why coffee? What made you choose to do coffee?
I think what made me
was it the early morning, the shift work?
Yeah. Working shift work, you're drinking coffee around
no
the
matter
clock.
what.
It's like water.
Yeah. And even right now, I'll drink coffee until like 5 o'clock until I start drinking beer.
Yeah.
It's a good transition.
Yeah. But no, I think what intrigued me the most was just most people didn't know that there was good coffee out there, right? Around here,
They just had no idea.
People just had been burning their taste buds with Folgers, and coffee's coffee, right? That's the mentality around here. And I think that's what intrigued me the most is when I finally figured out, wow, there's some good stuff out there. So we started just importing random stuff and sampling it out. And in my basement, we had a bunch of tables set up, me and my wife, and we were kind of sampling stuff out. And, this one's good, this one's bad. The hardest part was getting, honest feedback, I give coffee to somebody, and I'm not, I love light roast, but I'm not a light roast drinker usually, so I wanted to find light roast drinkers to give me some good feedback, and I found some. Everybody just wants to say it's good and make you feel better.
That's the thing. Yeah.
It's no, I need your honesty here because this is a big deal.
Yeah. So no, I think we got 5 roasts now that are solid, and when I can find more time, I'd like to do a few more. So.
And I assume you'd have to agree with us too. Nothing like having that good cup of coffee
Absolutely.
in the day,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just, I'm a firm believer in that too. I've had some pretty, you know, you go to some places and you want that cup of coffee because you have the, you know, the brand or flavor that you like to drink, and when you don't get it, and you,
Dude, it shakes your day.
it actually really does.
It does.
You know, when you settle for your not good coffee, it's not the same.
Yeah,
at
it's
all,
not the same. No,
You know,
no. If you have to settle, like I just went down to Casper, Wyoming, and I had to buy a skid steer, and I was looking for a coffee shop, and yeah, I really couldn't, so I had to settle for just a gas station coffee, and it was pretty brutal.
yeah, it's just not the same.
Yeah, it's quite the downgrade.
Yeah.
So it's got to be tough, you know. So you started in 2017, shortly after, and you know, I can relate to you what it's like to, you know, invest into yourself and start a business. You know, it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort,
It does. Yeah.
and it seemed like obviously starting in 2017, right after, boy, you got the pandemic just beating you right
Yeah.
on your back door. I mean, and that's got to be hard too, because it's already expensive, it's already time consuming and everything, and then having to deal with that is got to be really overwhelming,
Yeah.
you know, to deal with all that. How, and obviously you made it through, you know.
Yeah, I think the advantage that we had was we don't have as much overhead as, say, a coffee shop with employees, and you know, they had a lot more bills than what we would have. So in return, we were trying to, you know, push some stuff off and try to. The bad part is all the inventory on the shelf sat for a year, so we had to, you know, pull some back, and
Yeah.
I didn't want, after the pandemic and everybody starts selling coffee again, the first time somebody like Rob goes and buys coffee for the first time, it's a year old.
Insane. Yeah, you just don't know
So
how.
that was the kind of the little bit of the kick in the nuts, but it was.
And you don't want those people to think like, man, their coffee sucks. No, it's a year old. You know, it's
Yeah,
really
Yeah,
not bad
and you do
coffee.
you
What do
rely
you-
on everybody.
Yeah. So I bet you were pretty stocked up on your little personal stash of coffee for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah, we
Just
were
like,
donating
oh, this is
and
mine.
stuff, and-
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the bad part about it too, is you rely on whoever's buying it on the shelf, for one, to buy a recent bag that's not, you know, expired, and then also
Whoever's handling it in between you
yeah,
and
and
the
then
customer,
if you host a party at your house, you're making it right. You know, you could make a, you know, too strong or too
Yeah,
light,
that
and
is,
somebody
yeah.
can. Everybody in the house can be like, "Wow, it's not that good. It's light, or it's, you know, it's watered down." Well, it's because Rob's not making it right. You know,
Yeah.
so you
that
kind
is
of
kind of the downside. I mean, there is a lot of upside with how you do
Yeah.
bring that coffee to other people's cups.
Yeah.
And
But
yeah, it's funny you say that, because I actually deal with that hardcore at my house.
oh,
Yeah, it's so when we make coffee every morning, I like where you can see through it just a little bit, you know, then I know it's done right. But then if I put it in Amber's hands, she it's like you fill up that whole thing, and if you could stack another a
Thick,
filter
huh?
full of coffee on top, and then when you pour it out, you gotta use a spoon, and like it's almost like cream. It's so thick.
That's good.
Then it's good. And her daughter's the same way. So yeah, it's usually a fight every morning. Who's gonna get up early and make the coffee? Because
That's funny.
It's not close. She likes hers. I like mine. But yeah, you gotta make it just the right way.
I like that. Amber goes through more coffee grounds. That's good.
Yeah, that's,
yeah, good.
buys more coffee. Yeah,
great
we need-
customer.
I need to get a hold of her. Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Let's talk a little bit how, because obviously your branding is a big part of, you know, making your coffee company successful. So
Yeah.
Coal Country Coffee, obviously Leonol's is a coal-driven power plant.
Yep.
So I mean, I suppose even right off the bat, starting out, that was probably like, especially with the big, you know, I guess with the wind turbines, people are like, you know, support Coal Country. So I think that was honestly a genius move, just even naming your company that, because you're going to get a lot of people on board.
Yeah, I think
definitely. So
Yeah.
yeah, but
Being up here in North Dakota.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's just like, you can only make your coffee so good, so your brand's got to be just as good,
Absolutely.
you know. So yeah.
We tried to target down different areas, like you know, Pennsylvania's got a lot of
Yep.
coal down there, and
Yep.
we ship a lot of stuff out to Arizona, but I think there's a lot of snowbirds down there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
which is cool. But it's, I mean, probably one of the things that makes me the most excited is if I come in and I get like a order from like San Francisco. You know what I mean? It's like, that's
That
cool.
means your
You know what
coffee
I mean?
was-
It's somebody's
Yeah.
Beat out a lot of other coffees. Yeah.
Not everybody. And I mean, you can be against coal and still like cold country coffee. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I think without getting political, I think our stance on what we support.
Well, it's right there in the,
Yeah.
in the brand. So
Yeah. No, it's I think so though. There's
definitely
a
got
lot
to
of
keep the
followers.
locals happy.
Yeah. Yeah. But everybody wants more electricity. More electric cars and everything else, and you got to power them somehow. so-
Exactly. Yep. Got to spin them generators.
Yep.
That's true.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Recently became friends with you on Facebook, and I just human nature just went through your feed, and I saw a post. I think Kirby posted it, but he just so you were working at the power plant or the power plant, and then you've got his bike fixed. Plus you were starting this company, and it's just I saw dude, this dude can hustle and grind, and I think that's just any kind of business owner, or even I'm a business owner with my truck and stuff, but even just that mentality you gotta have. It's just you gotta be unstoppable and just be able to outwork anything that comes your way. And I just think that's tell me a little bit about your motivation to just
Well,
hustle, just
I
make
think
it happen.
I think the biggest factor is I hate hiring somebody to do a job that I know I can do. I just don't
Yeah.
have time for it.
Yeah.
So I think I just push myself to the point where it's well, I can get that done. I got an hour, I'll go bust it out. And that was the thing with the bikes. So my bike's clubbed out, and then we went on a motorcycle trip down to California. We rode from Albuquerque, New Mexico down to San Diego, and then up the coast all the way home.
Nice.
Was it 2 years ago now? And when we got back, it was when Kirby, he rode my bike. He's like, yeah, I want to build one like that. So I'm like, well, I can do it. I know how to do it. So we just pretty much bought that bike and started tearing into it. And yeah, I would be roasting coffee sometimes, and there'd be 4 or 5 bikes rolling up, and we'd shove them in the garage and start tearing into them.
Right.
So yeah, it's fun stuff. I mean, I love roasting coffee, but I would say I love wrenching on bikes more.
Definitely. Yeah.
So it's a good escape. And the old machine I had, I would have to roast around the clock, and
keep
my
up,
dad
yeah.
is retired, so he helps out a lot, and if I was working, he'd be roasting. So that little machine really didn't stop. I mean, that little machine was 3 pounds at a time, and I think we roasted 35,000 pounds through it before we retired it to the big one. So it was.
How'd that thing
So
hold up?
if you weigh out the hours, I'm probably going backwards.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah.
That's
So what's it take to do, it'd be cool to show a process, but what's it from start to finish? How long does it take to do a whole bean, bag of coffee, the process and everything? What's your
So
time frame?
So the roasting side of it's actually pretty quick. I would say about 15 minutes is a roast. So the little machine was 3 pounds. The new machine is about 50. So in about 20 minutes, I punch that out, and then it cools. So it goes into a rotary drum, gas, natural gas, and once we have to the certain temp and time. So that plays a factor too. You don't want to roast too long, you'll dry your coffee beans out. Too quick, you'll burn them. Time is a huge factor in there, and then also your final temp. So kind of, I'm not sure that can give you a little nutshell or a little rundown with it, but so the light roast obviously is more caffeine. As you roast, your oils start coming out. So the bean opens up, oils start coming out, and your caffeine's in your oil. So the darker the roast, the less caffeine. So you see your oil start coming out right after a medium roast. So your light and your medium got the most caffeine, medium dark, and then your French and Italian roasts are, darker. So your Italian roast, is essentially decaffeinated because most of your caffeine is roasted.
Right. So does the more oil you take out, does that provide more flavor from the bean itself? Or?
So you can lose a little bit of like bitterness and stuff like that. So you're lighter the roast, your bean is still, so it's beyond first crack. So when I say that, the middle of the bean opens up. Mm-hmm. Your light roast is a lot earthier, like your more mouthfeel kind of roast. And then as you roast darker, you get a little smoother, and you kind of lose some of them earthy flavors.
A little bit more.
But if you look at the world in like a flat map, and you go like North America to like Asia, your North America coffees are, I shouldn't say North America because like there's nothing roast up here, you know. Yeah. But down like Mexico and Honduras and Peru, you have less mouthfeel. And then as you go to Asia, you have more heavier mouthfeel coffee. So if you like a smoother coffee, you stay with your Central American coffees.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Kind of goofy.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So is that kind of like when you go to the other countries, they do the espressos and it's like the thicker, richer, smaller amount?
Yeah. So like Europe is huge on, obviously like a cup of coffee is an Americano there. You know, they do espresso, like everything's an espresso, right? So that's what they call it. But yeah, Europe's a lot different for coffees, that's for sure. But yeah, that's where it comes from. And also a cup of coffee is considered 4 ounces, and that comes from Europe too. You know, a cup of coffee back here is not 4 ounces.
No, 16 ounces.
Yeah. So
it's funny.
It's right next to the fountain pop.
Our concept of a bigger cup of coffee is more ounces and more caffeine.
Yeah, and we're always in a hurry.
Yeah.
You go to Europe and you go to supper and it's like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And me and my wife went to Greece a while back, and it was like we'd order our food, we'd ask for a tab, and then we'd be like still an hour and a half before we get it. It's just a different mentality, and slow down and chill out.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah.
So when you started roasting and trying different, roasts for coffees, when you got into this niche, obviously, you're not YouTubing how to figure it out. So I mean, there's obviously you went to some classes. I'm sure.
Yep.
I can't probably say it schooling, but seminars, I imagine what they might call it. Or there's such fine detail stuff that it's not as easy as putting flavor on a bean and try to figure it out. Like there's a lot of that fine tuning little niche things that you do to make that bean better or for the roasting. I mean, and school's never over. I mean, you're always learning every day on how to try different things and perfect it and a little bit to be more economic or something. Like you're always learning being a business owner. Did that take a while to learn all that? I mean, or like when you were trying it in your basement, in your garage, and then when you actually went to a class or a seminar, was it like, was it similar to a lot of stuff you were doing, or was it an eye opener for you to be like, I'll click, that's how they do it, or
the classes
or made it better,
were more like how to run the machines, what to look for, when you expect your first and second cracks and stuff like that. Also to set up, so I can set up my computer on my roaster, and I can do a roast profile. So your roasts are consistent every time, right?
Like tuning a car, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's like dyno. Yeah, it's like a dyno. No, so it's once like right now the 5 that I roast, we don't really graph them anymore because we've been doing it so long. We can just see it. And we just keep an eye on it. So we don't have to monitor them as much as we used to. But it was more or less me burying myself in the garage and roasting different stuff. And I started off with little craft bags, and then when people kind of started asking for it and friends of friends started asking for it, I'm like, man, I've got to order some bags because, you know, these things are getting expensive. So I bought, you know, like 1,000 bags or 500 bags or whatever it was. And, you know, my wife didn't divorce me, so it worked out pretty good. You're buying 500 coffee bags? Like, what are you doing? But no, it worked out pretty good. So it's, and then little things now, like that'll cost savings would be like buying larger volumes of bags and going to custom bags instead of printed bags instead of labels. For a while there, we were, you know, I was buying 2 ink cartridges a week, you know.
Labeling bags, yeah.
Just labeling bags.
Yeah.
And that takes time. And
Oh yeah.
so eventually we can get to more automation, you know, a little less hands-on. Right now we're filling and packaging and sealing every bag. And when we punch out, you know, 800 bags a month,
Really cutting
1,000
out the
bags a
middleman
month,
there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's kind of it's a lot.
Yeah. Huh.
So, are you an operator out at Lead?
I run heavy equipment. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. So I was just wondering. So, like, I know I got my process plant degree. So, is there any similarities between, you know, the coal process to roasting coffee? It's like, you know, you got to mill your coal. You know, you got to burn it, and then it's,
I guess in a way.
in a way,
we're
you know, take
crushing
raw
coal
coffee
and
bean, raw coal. I don't know. I
throwing it
just
in the boiler, more or less. You know.
yeah,
Yeah. It's a process. I
yeah, it's
guess.
a process. Yeah,
Maybe I'll tell people that today. Got my processing degree for this.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it's really paying off. Yeah,
Yeah. You did process plant?
Process
Oh, yeah.
plant,
I like
yeah.
to think we're smarter than the power plant guys.
yeah,
So.
yeah. Yeah, there's those 16 extra credits really. No, was it thermodynamics really
Yeah,
makes us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can make biodiesel.
yeah,
So
yeah. What?
You know, even with that whole thing, you know, even with getting back to like the beans and stuff, it's not just in the actual grounds or the beans in the coffee. Like, you know, I was just thinking, having the right bag makes a toll too on your coffee, on
Yeah.
keeping fresh and everything else. So there's a lot more to it, you know, than people think, than just, you know, picking out a flavor, doing the bean, and then just putting it in a bag and putting it on the shelf.
we're going on a trip on August 19th. We're gonna head out west. I don't know how far we're gonna make it, but if we can get enough time off, we'll hit the coast. But
Yeah,
we'll see how far we can go.
Nice.
But
Yeah, I got a buddy that runs that quite often, and he says it's a good ride to go over to the West Coast.
I've never seen redwoods before, so I kind of wanted to go through the, you know, hit like the Oregon coast
That'd be
up.
sweet.
And I think it'd be kind of cool.
definitely.
But we're not gonna do the rally this year. I'm gonna take time off, I think, and this year off. So I don't know if I can handle the buffalo chip for a few days. So
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
take years off a guy's life.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, and it's funny, and you know, being in this industry as long as I have, people have always asked me, you know, so what do you think of Sturgis? You know, I've never been there. I've never been to a rally, and I know I've been wanting to, you know, for the longest time. I've been wanting to go to the rally, but it's just one of those things that it's like, I don't know if it's the rally that I'm concerned about, or the fact, like, I want to go down and ride.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go down there and see things,
Yeah.
And that's exactly
you know,
it.
and that's
It's like-
what I want to do. I don't really care to take in the whole actual people rally part of it.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool for not being there to actually just take in that experience of seeing the people.
Yeah.
But then get me out of there.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go ride. I want to
Yeah.
go ride to
Yeah.
the,
It's like
the
if I
hills.
always tell people, they ask me if I'm going to Sturgis, like, well, if I go on a motorcycle trip, I want to go to ride, not party. I can party here
Yeah.
if I want to, you know.
Absolutely. So we did last year. That was kind of the same thing too. We don't normally ride down at the rally, but this last year we rode. We did Beartooth Pass, big loop, came back around, and
Yep.
so we hung
That
out in
was-
Red Lodge for a little bit. And
Yep.
that was when a Kirby ended up. He's doing a wheelie on downtown Red Lodge and ripped the axle or the pulley bolts out of the rear wheel. So we were scrambling trying to, you know, in an alley, tearing the wheel off and tapping these bolts out and
Yeah.
running around town trying to find parts and shit. So
No, that's a really
Wild.
fun ride. I started in Bismarck, went up to Flathead Lake, did Glacier, shot down to Missoula, went back up to Flathead, then rode through Yellowstone, and just even that road going into Cook it's like I'll never forget it. So that's why that trip kind of ruined me, because it's like I can go to Sturgis or you can go to Montana and actually put good fun miles on your bike. And you know, that morning we went through God dang it, what's that town just south of Livingston where you enter the park? Anyways, can't remember it. But so yeah, we started out that morning in t-shirts or cutoffs, and then when we went up to the summit of Beartooth, we had full leathers on. It was trying to snow. It's just crazy, the elements. This was in October, and yeah,
that is wild.
Yeah. They had a rally, didn't they, a couple weekends ago in Red Lodge?
Well, normally the Hells Angels rally or whatever is that one that they go to is a week or two before the Sturgis rally. Usually.
I'm surprised they pulled it off with the roads being all messed up out there.
Yeah, I didn't know if they did it or not.
Yeah, I saw that because we got invited down there. They had that. I'm trying to think what it was called, but it was right there in Red Lodge that they had. It was a rally. And a few of my friends went down and they tried to get us to come down there, and they, you know, and that was the same thing too. They get up every day and they, you know, go every direction. But they went through like Beartooth Pass and all that stuff. And they said too, it's awesome. Like you gotta see it, you know.
It's almost, it's kind of you wouldn't think riding on public roads would be thrilling. You know, usually people get their kicks on, you know, doing burnouts and wheelies and shit like that. But there's a couple curves on Beartooth where it's like, okay, Rob, like this ain't a racetrack. You make a mistake, you're going over the edge. So it's like that was pretty fun. So
no, that's cool. It's a nice little loop. It kind of gets the riding itch off, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Then you get down to the rally and act like children for a few days and then come back home.
Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah. Well, it was great to have you, Trav. You can, if you want to tell people like how they can reach or, you know, get some of your coffee, or who has it or where they can purchase it.
Yeah, so we're redoing our website right now where there'll be a where to buy tab, so then it can direct it towards, you know, storefronts like your guys's and stuff like that. Right now the shop that we're in, we're going to be open some days a week. We're not on a actual schedule yet until we get it finished, but the new website will have store locations and kind of directed towards like your guys' place and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's so the website, and then we're in the grocery stores right now, but no whole bean, so whole bean will be stocked at the little shops around town, stuff like that. And hopefully start getting some merchandise and stuff like that pumped out in a few stores. And so kind of stay tuned on Facebook and stuff. So
cool. Yeah, and like I said too, you know, we got, even at our place too, we got stuff. And if people want, you know, for our followers and people on our site, you know, if you are interested in it, just let us know, message us. However, and if we don't have it, you know, we'll definitely reach out to you and get whatever that we need to. So it's always appreciative, Travis. You know, I got a lot of stuff in our future that I have ideas on certain things, so I'll keep you in the loop. And like I said, I always appreciate working with you.
Do a coal country bike.
Well, he could probably do that himself, obviously.
Yeah, but I don't know, just like
maybe a truck, maybe. That might be something. But
new 7.3.
Yeah,
paint the van.
Yeah.
That van's sweet, by the way.
Yeah, you never know. But it's always good, you know, and that's the thing too. It's even if you know, at an event or something, I mean, it's always good to work with you. And you never know. Like I said, join forces down the road, and hopefully we can do some more work together.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd like to, now that we're in the shop, once we get settled, we got a lot of property. It'd be cool to do a big show, you know.
Yeah.
Put together some stuff.
Place looks great too.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it's coming together. Just a lot of little things that, like I said, I have a hard time hiring people to do stuff that I can do. It's just I got to find that time.
You'll find out though as you get older that I think I got you by a year or two.
I think so.
And I tread lightly.
36 and 35 or what?
Yeah, it's like you know, 35 to 37. You know, you find out. You know, I used to be the same way too, hardcore. You know, starting my business. You know, you go into, you got to be dedicated. You know, when it's only you. you have to be 100% at 100 things, and it takes a lot out of a person. And I'm telling you from experience, man, I used to live at my shop every single day. And there's a time in life that you wake up one day and you're like, life's short. You got to start living a little bit, and you got to start hiring people just to take that edge off. Because I'm telling you, after a while, it does get to you, and it starts to burn you out a little bit.
See that.
And then you'll realize too, by hiring the right people, you'll sit back and be like, it's worth it. But it's growing pains, it's positive growing pains. But dude, I'm telling you, I used to be the same way. It's like, I can do that. Yeah, I know. But after a while, you realize that it doesn't hurt to ask for help and rely on good people. That's the biggest thing is in this world nowadays, it's not just hiring an employee, it's hiring the right person that will benefit you. And they're out there, so. And then that's when you can sit back and enjoy life just a little bit more, just to get back to that normalcy. Because after a while, like, you'll start craving it because you don't want to get burned out.
Yeah.
Then it's not fun anymore.
Yeah, there's less miles on the bike this year than last year. It's already going downhill, so that's not good.
I know. I deal with the same conversation at my house. It's like, it's pretty sad that when you actually have to sit down and pull out a calendar and schedule to take the bike out, and then there's not even a chance it's going to happen because something comes up. Or it's like, wow, we could go for a bike ride, but the yard needs to be mowed and it hasn't been mowed in 2 weeks. Well, we should probably do that first, and the next thing you know, the miles get less and less and less. So yeah, I hear you. It's a challenge.
Bikes look good though.
Yeah, but it looks good. I wipe it down every day.
Though, always.
Yeah. Keeping it nice.
Not a speck of dust on that thing.
Yeah. Well, again, Travis, thank you. It's always been a pleasure. And again, if for the listeners out there, Cold Country Coffee, check us out, message us, Facebook, we'll put a link on there. Love to hear your comments, where to get it. If you want some, check us out.